Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Monday, June 9th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over my core picks. It's going to be 5 players in total, 1 pitcher, 4 hitters. It's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. After that, we'll move over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for Monday's slate. And then in the morning, I'll be posting my early morning weather report that I have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher listed down there. And then I'll also be posting as many of these starting lamps as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely make sure that you are checking up down in that comment section below so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible, especially as we do head into lock. But without further ado, we're going to get started with those core picks. We're going to start off at that pitcher position. We get Shane Baz here of the Tampa Bay Rays. He's going against the Boston Red Sox. He's done very well against them in his career. He's $8,000, averaging about 26 fantasy points per game on the season. So obviously we don't want to see that 26 number, but he had to start versus the Boston Red Sox earlier this season where he had 58 fantasy points. And then last year in 2024, he had 2 starts against them. Both of those starts he did put up 43 fantasy points. So I definitely do like his upside going against this Boston Red Sox team, even if he's not pitched quite as well as of late. And with that being said, if we look at what Shane Baz has done on the season in totality, 5 wins. ERA is just under 5 at this point in time at 4.96. Once again, he's averaging about 26 fantasy points per game at $8,000. So he's been struggling a little bit as of late, but definitely do like that upside going against the Boston Red Sox, a team that he's done really well against in the past. But if you do want to pay up for another pitcher like a Chris Sale, definitely want to understand that at the same time as well. Then we move down to our hitters. We're going to start off with Wilson Contreras of the St. Louis Cardinals. He's $2,900, averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game. He goes against the Toronto Blue Jays. Jose Barrios is the expected starting pitcher for them. He is 2 for 5 versus Jose Barrios in his career. And if we look at what Wilson Contreras has done as of late, he has at least 1 hit in 8 out of his last 9 games, 3 multi-hit games during that time span, 1 home run, and he does have 6 double-digit performances, so definitely do like that upside out of him at $2,900. If we look at what he's done on the season so far, 250 batting average, 7 home runs, 38 RBIs, once again averaging just under 10 fantasy points per game at $2,900. And maybe the one concern that we have with him this year is his power's kind of been down, which is surprising since he's moved from catcher to first base. You'd think there'd be a little bit extra power with him not going behind the plate and all the wear and tear of that, but just kind of unfortunate there, but has been putting up those double-digit performances. So definitely do like his upside in this matchup once again. Then we're going to move down to second base with Chris Taylor. You can also play him at third base and outfield. He's $2,300. We can't look at too much of what he's done on the season so far because if you do the fantasy points per game, it's like 3.5, but he essentially did close to nothing when he was on the Dodgers. But now over with the Angels, he's been doing a little bit better as of late, getting a little bit more regular playing time. And he's going against the Athletics, and it's going to be Jeffrey Springs on the mound. He is 4 for 10 with 1 home run versus Jeffrey Springs in his career. He has at least 1 hit in 3 out of his last 4 games. 2 of those games were multi-hit games, 1 home run. He has 2 double-digit performances, and those 3 games that he does have hits in, he has at least 9 fantasy points or higher. So definitely do like him as a value type of play, as long as he's in that starting lineup once again for this Los Angeles Angels team. Obviously, a little bit of risk there just because he had that rough start to the season when he was on the Dodgers, but since coming over the Angels, he's been better. So definitely do like that upside out of him. He's got a 210 batting average, 1 home run, 5 RBIs. Once again, averaging about 3.5 fantasy points per game at $2,300, but definitely do like his versatility and that price tag for this slate overall. Then we're going to move down to our outfielders. We're going to start off with George Springer. He's $3,000, averaging about 10.5 fantasy points per game. He is going against the St. Louis Cardinals. It's Andre Payente on the mound. He is 2 for 3 versus Andre Payente in his career. And if we look at what George Springer's done as of late, it's been pretty good. So he's currently on a 4-game hitting streak. He does have at least 1 hit in 8 out of his last 10 games. During that stretch, he has 2 multi-hit games, 5 home runs, 5 double-digit performances, and all 8 games that he does have a hit in, he's got at least 9 fantasy points or higher. So definitely do like the upside that he's been having as of late. If we look at what he's done so far on the season, 251 batting average, 10 home runs, 28 RBIs. Once again, averaging about 10.5 fantasy points per game on the season at $3,000. And like I mentioned, he's got 5 home runs during the last 10 games. That is half of the home runs that he does have in total on the season, so definitely do like that upside out of him as of late. And at $3,000, that is a very respectable price tag for the output that he's been doing as of late. And then last but not least, we're going to go down to Joe Adell at $2,900, averaging just over 8 fantasy points per game on the season. And he's also going against the Athletics and Jeffrey Springs on the mound. He is 1 for 1 versus Jeffrey Springs in his career. And Joe Adell's been looking a little bit better as of late. He has got at least 1 hit in 5 out of his last 9 games, 3 multi-hit games, 5 home runs during that stretch, 5 double-digit performances, so definitely do like the type of upside that he could have on the slate overall. It is an attractive matchup going against the left-handed pitcher, obviously. Jo Adell being the right-handed batter that does swing for power. There is a lot of swing and miss to his game still once again, but been doing better as of late. Obviously, he's kind of been that guy that's bounced back and forth between AAA and the majors for what probably seems like 5 years at this point in time, but definitely do like his upside in this matchup. 220 batting average, 11 home runs, 29 RBIs, averaging just over 8 fantasy points per game at $2,900. Obviously, it is a little bit heightened price tag for him. Probably most of the time we're going to give him around $2,600, but did have that multi-hit game 2 games ago, so that probably boosted up his price tag just a little bit overall. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you'll have $15,900 remaining, just under $4,000 remaining per player. So definitely, if you want to pay up at that pitcher position from Shane Baz, you can definitely do that. If you want to pay up for any player just in general on this slate, you definitely have the flexibility to do so. Obviously, if you want to pay up from one of the 4 hitters that I do have listed here, definitely feel free to do so at the same time as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for Monday's slate overall. So we're going to start off with the San Diego Padres going against Dustin May of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They have hit him pretty well in the past, mainly Manny Machado, Jake Cronenworth, Xander Bogaerts, who's a little bit banged up at this point in time, as well as Fernando Tatis Jr. And then we have the Angels going against Jeffrey Springs. A lot of these guys have hit Jeffrey Springs really well in the past. Whether that is Jo Adell, whether it's Chris Taylor, whether it is Mike Trout, Jorge Soler, who's probably not going to play because he's dealing with a groin injury. Taylor Ward's been on a pretty good hot stretch as well. So definitely a lot of options from that Angels lineup. Then we have the Toronto Blue Jays going against Andre Piante. Not a long list history there, but most of their hitters have done pretty well against him in the past. And then we have the Atlanta Braves going against Aaron Savali. Not a long list history there as well, but definitely do like the upside that this Braves lineup could have against Aaron Savali, who has been known to be hit or miss throughout his career, and he's only had 1 good start so far this season. But with that being said, that's what I do have in terms of my core picks as well as top GPP teams to stack for Monday, June 9th. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Once again, in the morning, I'll be listing my early morning weather report that will have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I will be posting as many of these starting lineups that I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evenings. So definitely be on the lookout for all that down in the comment section, especially as we do get closer to lock. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have MLB DFS in terms of the core picks, typically Monday through Friday. And then I do have my CFL DFS video, which will be coming out once a week. Typically, that will be coming out on Wednesday, so definitely on the lookout for that as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you are a brand new user to any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's a 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's a 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Monday, June 9th.